Hey guys, what's up? It's a very gloomy day today and I figured why not do some plant chores, because I do have a few plants that need to be repotted and some need to just be cut up and given a second chance at life. So I'm just gonna get right into it, grab my trusty potting mat, some moss and soil, and let's get into this video. Alright, so my trusty potting mat is ready. And I think I'm gonna start with my Hoyas. Yeah, they definitely need to be repotted. The roots on this guy has grown significantly. I did have to give it higher humidity for it to get to where it is. And I don't know if you can tell, but the splash on this Hoya bell is Hoya mini bell, I think, is very pretty. But I did lose a leaf and I think it was just because it was acclimating. So I do see a little stem that is emerging and it's right here. This little piece right over here. But it's time to put this in some soil. And same with this Hoya Michelle. I know it's giving me 2 leaves. It is very well rooted. But ever since it's giving me the 2 leaves, it hasn't done very much afterwards. So we're just gonna repot them today. So let's just take this out of here. Now I don't think I'm gonna be able to kind of pull this out of here. I am going to have to cut this. So. There you go. So here she is. I did have to cut off the cap to pull it out of the vessel, but I'm gonna just pot this guy up straight into soil. It has significant amount of roots already, so that's just what I'm going to do. I think I'm gonna pot it up like this. So here it is. This is the cup that it's going to reside in. It has significant amount of roots. However, I'm actually debating if I want it in soil or if I want it in ponds. I know that some Hoyas really like to be in ponds, but the thing is that I've never had any of my Hoyas in ponds. They've all been in soil. So I think I'm just gonna shove it in in soil and hope for the best. So yeah, this is just gonna go into soil. All right, so I've made up my mind and I am actually going to do a little bit of half and half. So this Hoya is gonna go into soil mix. I do have here some orchiata and some ponds as well. So I hope it likes it. So like I said, I haven't had any luck with my Hoyas growing in semi-hydro. I do have one Hoya carrii that is in a self-watering container and it is in ponds, but I mean it's very slow growing and it kind of disappoints me a little bit because it's so slow growing compared to the ones that are in soil. So I'm just gonna hope for the best and I'll give you updates on this cutting once it starts to do something. So I am going to go ahead and bag this and give it 100% humidity because it's starting to do something over here. So I'm gonna just give it what it needs, set it and forget it. So here she is all potted up, and like I said, I'm gonna give it 100% humidity and put it back in hotel over there. And now I'm gonna work on this Hoya Michelle. Now this plant has plenty of roots and it is currently in moss right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of here and pot it up. Now what I'm not going to do is disturb the root ball too much. I'm gonna kind of break it up a little bit, but this is gonna go into soil as well. So that's the plan for this Hoya Michelle. And I'm kind of sad because the new leaves aren't as splashy as the first, but you know, I have hope. We'll see. Maybe after it gets into soil, it'll start putting off some splashier leaves for me. This is what I'm working with, and I'm trying to carefully remove as much of the moss as I can, simply because the roots on Hoyas are very delicate. I'm having a hard time figuring out if it's a root or if it's moss. So I'm just going to kind of break this up now and take off as much as I can. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep it like this for the most part and just kind of shove it into here and add some soil. And then I'm gonna bag this as well just to give it some humidity, so that it could stay cozy. So I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera and do this because this is some tedious work right here. All right, so I did an oopsie, and that oopsie was I forgot to add some myco. The other one, maybe I'll like mix it in later, but this one, because I really want it to root well, I'm gonna just go ahead and sprinkle some on top. Go. And I'm using the same soil mix, and I hope this plant likes it. And there she is. So this is also gonna go back into the cabinet, and like I said, I am gonna bag it, but I might just, yeah, I'm gonna have to find a big enough bag to put this in, maybe a freezer bag or something. So, oh, hi Tofu. Do you wanna say hi? Oh, she's camera shy. All right, so moving on, you're ridiculous. Sorry guys. I am going to now pot up this Philodendron UPI, and this is one of my favorite philodendrons. It is putting off a new leaf right now, so yeah. And this little one is starting to yellow, but that's okay. It's okay if it doesn't make it, because it's putting off new leaves for me, and that's all I care about. So this is also in moss as well, and same thing. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull this out and just kind of break this up a little bit, and it'll just go into here. And once it gives me, I think when it gives me a, not this leaf but the next one, I'm actually going to give it a moss pull and then repot it again after that. So I kind of just wanted to acclimate it to soil first before I go ahead and give it a moss pull and do all these other fancy bits to it. So let's repot this guy. Like I had mentioned, this plant is in moss as well, and their roots are actually very fine as well, except the main root, like this one, it is substantial, it's pretty thick, but otherwise the secondary roots are pretty thin. So I'm gonna go ahead and just remove this and go off camera and do this, and then I'll be back and show you guys the finished product. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pot this up in this container. And I know that I said this plant looks very root bound, and I should actually give it a bigger pot, but because it hasn't acclimated to soil yet, I don't want to shock the plant too much by giving it more than it needs. So I'm going to go ahead and pot it up in this, and I'll be right back and show you the finished product. All right, so here's the plant all potted up. I did go ahead and give it a cup so that I could put it back to where it belongs without it dripping water everywhere. So that's perfect. Now the next plant that I really want to work on and chop up is actually this esqueleto right over here. And I've shown you this plant before, and it has just, it's kind of embarrassing to be honest, deteriorated so much, like it's not even funny. So what I'm actually going to do is one, I can see that it's putting off a leaf right now up there, and there's a nice fat aerial root, so I'm going to go ahead and I guess air layer that. And once it has produced enough roots, I'm gonna cut it. But right now, I think what I'm actually just gonna do is clip off all these disgusting leaves because they're just not healthy looking. It just brings me zero joy. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a cut. I'm gonna just clean up a little bit and then kind of zoom you guys in so you can see exactly what I'm working with. Okay, so this is what I'm working with, and as you can see, this is the new leaf, and right over here is a very juicy looking aerial root, which I'm really excited about because this is where I'm going to air layer it, and we're going to cross our fingers and hope for the best that by the time this puts off a new leaf, I will have enough aerial roots or roots so that I can just clip it right here. And down over here, I have these crusty yellow gross looking leaves, and I have a new growth. So what I'm actually going to do is clip these gross leaves off, and yeah, I'm just going to get rid of it. And by the time this one up here grows and I can finally cut it, I'm actually just going to cut it down over here too. So I'm probably going to clip it like right here when the other one starts to grow. So that's what I'm working with. This is what I'm working with, and honestly, I have no idea why this plant has just been nothing but trouble for me. It roots really well. I mean, sorry, I'm just clipping the leaves. What was I saying? I don't know why this this esqueleto just gives me nothing but trouble. And nothing but runners. Yeah, nothing but runners. You know what? I'm actually just gonna clip it over here as, oops, over here as well and cut this runner off because it's just very long. It's not doing anything. The tip of it has totally burnt off, and I do see that it has a bud, but I'm truly not interested. So I'm gonna just trash it now and just air layer what's left. I should just turn this around so you can see. But yeah, this is what's left of the plant now. So I've clipped off all those leaves and I'm just gonna air layer it right here. Now the moss that I'm using is just your regular sphagnum moss with some HB 101, nothing fancy. You've seen me do this before. Gonna grab a baggie, some of the moss, and I'm just gonna literally attach it to here. So I'm gonna go off camera and do that, and I'll be back. All right, so here we are. This is the finished product, and it's looking very bare, but hopefully it decides to grow and choose life. I'm probably gonna take this guy outside and give it a quick rinse and then put it back in its corner over here because I honestly want nothing to do with this plant just because of its shenanigans. All right, so the last plant that I'll be working on today is this Florida Beauty. So you can see she's not very variegated. Like, she has some splashes, but she's still pretty green. But the new leaves look very variegated, so I'm excited for that. And this new leaf is already popping off, so yeah, I'm pretty excited for that leaf. Now I'm gonna hold it like this so you can kind of see what's going on and try to get this to focus. Alrighty, so my goal is to actually air layer this portion right here because this aerial root looks really good, and then once I get enough leaves here, I'm actually gonna make a cut over here. So the reason for that is because there's already an activated bud right here, which I don't think you can see, but it is there. And this portion right here, so this one leaf here is actually gonna be cut off and thrown away. And I'm throwing it away because there's no bud left on this, this stem because it has already been cut. So, you know, it is what it is. I've already used the bud, and that's how I got this growth here. So that's what I'll be doing to this plant, and I'm gonna go ahead and air layer it, and I'll be right back. Alright, so here is the finished product. It is fairly top heavy right now, but it is what it is. And I am gonna go ahead and put it in the other cabinet. And yeah, if you guys enjoy watching me do some plant chores and giving you some updates on my plants, happy to do it. Just give me a comment down below or give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!